Good morning, Seven Fish fam. It's Z here, and we're headed out to the lake right now. It is 65 degrees. It's about 6:10 a.m. and I'm going to meet the left-handed hunter and the multifarious fisherman. It should be an exciting day. It's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be doing some fishing in the morning, and then we're going to be meeting up with someone in the afternoon to film something special for you guys. So tuned in, because it will be fun, exciting, and very informative.
How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Not too bad. Any luck out there today?
Yeah, we caught a couple of bass. Nothing. We didn't keep anything. Is that what you're checking on?
No, I'm with the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. I'm doing aquatic invasive species inspections today. Clean, drain, and dry check. You mind if you got a few minutes?
No, absolutely.
Do
We're
some
just
checks?
going to get our stuff together and, get ready to go.
Cool. We'll just do a quick walk around your boat.
Okay.
I see your motor is still up. Would you mind doing a quick drop of the motor and lowering it, dropping any water out of there?
All right.
So the reason we're doing this, you can see how much water is in there. A lot of the critters that we're after, such as zebra mussel larvae, can still live in that water that's in there. So what we ask our boaters to do is simply drain that water out of there, lower it as far as you can go. Drain it completely before you put your transom saver on and head down the road and get to your next water body.
Well, we'll just let her run out. I haven't got the plug out yet.
Yeah, that's the next thing we want to also look at is to pull the plug.
You guys, we having some trouble?
Mostly what we're trying to do is prevent spread. We don't have a lot of zebra mussels in our state right now. They're pretty well contained to Lewis and Clark Lake, the Missouri River, and we recently had an infestation in Cunningham here in Omaha.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're just trying to contain it to those water bodies. That's with zebra mussels. We do have other critters around, some plants that we also want to keep from spreading around, such as curly-leaf pondweed. That can be real invasive.
So you want that off?
So yeah, we'll walk around. That can get on trailers and boats. So we'll just walk around the boat and look and see if we have any. I see some down here on the trailer. Yeah, we'll just remove that, throw it off there. As far as aquatic plants, trolling motors are a good place for aquatic plants to hide. Just because you're using them, generally you're fishing up shallow, that's where our aquatic plants are going to be. I see you have some on here.
Oh, yeah.
Curly-leaf pondweed's usually an early season plant. It'll form dense mats of vegetation, and they're very tough to fish in, but great fish habitat.
Does it cause trouble for the other native vegetation?
It'll choke out our native stuff.
If we have weeds on the boat, can you get that one, Joe?
Yeah.
You just throw them down.
Yeah, simply just getting rid of them. And it's important to do this. We're doing this at the water body that you're coming off of. Obviously, this is where the weeds came from, so we want to leave them here as opposed to going to the next place, and that's how stuff gets transferred.
Are we worried about moving seeds, or how do they spread?
Well, a lot of these plant fragments, that's how it'll get spread.
So just from that little bit of plant, they
yep.
can establish themselves.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
What else are we looking for?
So you just kind of look around your boat, make sure it's dry.
So this is old bloom. Is that problematic, or is that okay?
It can be. At times, what I would suggest here is to take a towel and make sure that's all dried off. And I would probably even suggest to go to car wash and have
blow
that
off.
removed. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, this time of year, those blooms are tough.
Yeah.
That was going to be my question. If that was something that spread anything that, when your boat gets dirty like that, do you worry about getting that cleaned off? But
so generally, if your boat has been on water with known invasive species and it's been sitting there for several days and it looked like this, we would probably send you to decontamination. Or if a decon unit isn't available, it would likely be quarantined until we can decon it. That choice would be up to you. Most people are going to choose decon just because it's a quicker option.
Right.
So the zebra mussel, they're larvae, they're microscopic, you can't see them.
Okay.
They can attach to the hull here. And so the way that we test for that is you rub your hand along the water line. And when you encounter a boat like this, there's stuff along the water line, you can't see it, or you can't feel it, because you won't be able to see it. this would be somewhat of a concern.
Okay.
So what you're feeling for is those veligers. It's going to feel like sandpaper, whereas like up here it's nice and smooth.
Right.
And so when it's like this, you just can't.
Do they ride high in the water, the zebra?
They're going to be on the surface. They're looking for a hard substrate to adhere to.
Okay.
So as far as the outside looks good. We want to take a quick look in your live wells, make sure that those are drained and dry. Sometimes they'll back flush a little bit.
Yeah, that one does have some water in it.
Yep.
I've got a towel. Should we dry that out?
Yep, that's the best thing you can do.
Bait bag.
Joe?
Where'd the bait bag come from?
Oh, never mind. I'll get it, man.
I got it. I don't know if you got enough towel here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because we didn't fill it. It just...
Yeah, it'll back flush in there.
I got a couple of guys in the back of the boat pushing down on it.
Yep.
Filling her out.
Zach.
The other thing you can do is you can just dump a little bit of vinegar through there too, and that'll kill any veligers in there.
Okay.
So when we're, like we talked about, we're doing our veliger sampling, that's how we treat our nets, as we use a vinegar.
Vinegar?
Yep.
Dilution or?
We use just straight vinegar.
Okay.
We have a small area of our shop that smells like a pickle factory.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's nice if you like pickles.
If you like pickles.
So that's pretty much what we're looking for when we do a invasive inspection.
Yep. Main
and I
thing
should be doing this whether you're here or not.
Yep. Yeah. That's the main thing, is that we're trying to educate our boaters to do this every time they're coming off the water. Drain their motor. Check any compartment on the boat that may hold water. So their live well. This is obviously a fishing boat. You know, if you have a wakeboard boat or anything like that, drain any compartment that may have water in it while you're still at the lake that you're just coming off of, the water body you're just coming off of.
What if one of the guys you're fishing with is wet? Do we need to drain his shoes and stuff?
Yeah.
Probably not. But
he has a propensity to fall in occasionally.
Well, you know, it happens.
But that is a good question. So if you're using an anchor line or an anchor, dry off your anchor line. Just set it, when you're going home or when you get home.
Lay it out?
Yeah, lay it out in the sun. Let it dry out. Because that's one thing that when you bunch it all up and you put it back in your compartment, that's going to stay wet.
And it's not a deal where you just want a guy to take care of his boat if he's pulling out of Cunningham that is known to have them. You want him to do it at every body of water.
Exactly. Because there may be stuff in here that we don't know about
that you haven't found yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. And curly pondweeds in a lot of them. That's one of the things we're looking for.
Yeah.
What about kayaks, paddleboards, all that stuff?
So yeah, that's another good question. So we'll say the same thing about kayaks. You want to make sure they're all dried out. Kayaks are going to present a lower risk. Same thing with paddleboards as a boat, just because they're not going to hold as much water. So you're going to dry it out and drain it out. You're going to want to remove any vegetation that might be on there.
What about any sand or anything? Like, can anything be transferred in just plain dirt?
Yeah, there can be stuff that's in there. So you'd want to try to get as much of that out of there as you can.
To recap, the things that you want to do before leaving the lake are lower and drain your outboard motor, remove the plug and drain the bilge, remove all weed fragments from the trailer and the boat, drain and dry your compartments, and inspect at the water line, dry if necessary. So we're still here with Jordan. We are talking about invasive species, and we're talking about some of the things that aren't necessarily part of a boat inspection. We had talked about invasive critters, and we've talked about species of weed that we don't want to move and things that we can do to prevent that. One of the things we haven't talked about is invasive fish species. Those can be particularly problematic and difficult to get rid of in a body of water. One of the ways that you guys actually pass laws to prevent people moving fish or creating a situation where fish are in a body of water they shouldn't be. You want to talk about some of those laws?
Yeah, so our main one is a lot of times you'll see when we have a new body of water come online or a freshly renovated body of water come online, is you'll see that no live bait fish regulation in place, and that's specifically to try to keep those unwanted species out of that water body. So bait buckets similar to these, if you can use live bait at a reservoir, and you're done fishing and you don't want that bait anymore, we don't want you to dump those minnows, or what you may think are minnows, back in the water or in the reservoir. What we want you to do is dump the water out on shore, away from the lake, not out the ramp where it's just going to roll back into the lake. That's the main thing. Dump it out on the ground, away from the shore, and then dump your bait in a trash can. Don't dump it on the shore. That would be considered littering. Think about the other park users. They're not going to want to walk over a bunch of dead bait out there. So dump them in the trash can and then go on your way.
So when you talk about invasive fish species, we know about carp and we know about some of the big heads and the silvers and of course common carp, which have been here for years and years. But there's other sort of less talked about species of fish too. Gizzard shad are particularly problematic for us. White perch, yellow bass. Members of the temperate bass family, they're native to North America. They're not from another continent, but yet they're problematic in our small water bodies.
All those species can be problematic when they get in these small water bodies like this. Gizzard shad, for instance, they pose a real problem in our small reservoirs like this. They will outcompete our bluegill, our bass, our crappie. They'll even be a detriment to our catfish populations, where they'll hurt our recruitment. They'll slow our growth down on all those species in there.
That process of eliminating those fish, pretty inexpensive.
No, it's
extremely expensive.
The chemical itself is expensive. It takes quite a bit of manpower to do that.
So a way to prevent that, it is currently illegal to catch a fish in this body of water and take it live to a different body of water. That is illegal.
Yes, so there's
for
actually
bait or any other purpose.
There would actually be two laws that you would potentially be breaking there. So first would be the transport of a live fish to another body of water. That is illegal. The second one would be concerning the water. If you would to take water from this body of water and transport it away here, that is also illegal, simply because you cannot tell what is in that water.
Use of fish as dead bait or cut bait is okay.
Thanks for watching today, guys. We want to thank Jordan Cott, fishery biologist from the Nebraska Game and Parks, coming out and helping us with this project. Hopefully that's a little bit more enlightening of what you are supposed to do coming out of the water with your boat, how to check it over, dry it out, make sure you're not carrying anything around. Another thing we want to keep with that message of, you know, it wasn't the greatest day out here fishing. We caught a few fish, a few small fish, but we're out. You know, we had time to do it, so we got out here. So same thing as always, get out there and catch some fish. Thanks for watching. I had it perfect. Lieutenant Hunter out.